juicy stuff to talk to you about today. Listen, we are all trying to get up and out there in this world, and it is nice outside. But today we are definitely talking about carry-ons. We are talking about these different prices and things that they are charging for you to bring on your carry-on. So please share, share, share. But before you share, let me know who is actually on the live. I got Facebook, I got Instagram, I got YouTube, TikTok. What's up to my TikTok family out there? I am excited about this one. You don't want to miss it. We're going to hit some things, and I'm actually going to touch base on something else. I was just going to talk a little bit about the carry on, what to carry on, what to put in the carry on, what not to put it in. Hi, how you doing? I think it's Tim and TMNT77. Hey, welcome to the show. But I'm also going to talk about things for people that have children that suffer with autism and you want to travel with your child. I'm going to give you some tips on what you can do to make that experience a lot easier, because trust me, I know how hard that can be. And we're going to definitely target that on today. I just want to get one thing set up on this Facebook, because once we get Facebook up and going, we are definitely alive and well. And on that note, Facebook is up. So again, hello and welcome to Travel Tips and Tricks with me. I am Flora Singh. Some people know me as Pink Singh. I am the owner of Singh Tours International, and I have been traveling all around the world. And trust me, there is so much out there to explore. And a lot of people are always going online, looking at things, stumbling into travel, don't know what to do, don't know where to go. And it's a lot of, you hit a lot of roadblocks. And my biggest thing is, I don't want you to waste your money on trying to travel somewhere. Then when you get there, you have a bad experience, or your actual experience, process of getting to where you want to be can be kind of painful. So, without further ado, I have some things I want to definitely highlight over here. So, let's pull this up one time. So we're going to talk all things carry on, right? So a lot of times I get a lot of questions from different people as it relates to travel, and they're saying, "Okay, what can I bring on in my carry on? What can I bring into my carry on?" Listen, I've been on planes and have been amazed at some of the carry on bags that I've seen, or things that people have called carry ons that are far from carry ons. Hey, Crystal, I see you, girl, all the way from New York City. As a matter of fact, TikTok, where are you coming from? Where are everybody located at on TikTok? I know on Facebook I got Crystal, and she's coming from New York City. I believe I got another person. I got Lisa. She's coming from Charlotte, North Carolina. So big up Charlotte, big up New York in the house. I see New Jersey is in the house. Who's in the house on TikTok? Let's see what area is trumping the airways today. Who is trumping the airways? So last week when we did our travel tips and tricks, I asked, did anybody have anything in particular that they would want me to touch base on? And New York said, we want to talk about carry-ons. So I said, you know what, let's take a deep dive in it. So number one, when you're thinking about carry-ons, the first thing you need to think about is, what airline company are you traveling with? That makes a huge difference, right? Because there's some airlines that when you purchase your ticket, they'll actually allow you to bring on a carry-on. But then there's some that will say you cannot bring on a carry-on. And then there's others that will say, okay, you can bring on a carry-on, but it can't be bigger than this. And there is nobody no more disrespectful than Frontier. Honey, Frontier will embarrass you if you think you're going to come up there with an oversized carry-on bag and get on that actual plane with it. They have that whole stand there, and you got to stick it in. And I mean, I've seen some very amazing things happen at those gates. That you don't want to be that person. So one of the things I really want to do is encourage people, when you are traveling and you are looking to bring on a carry-on, one, make sure that it's one that you don't have to pay anything extra for. Two, if you do have to pay something extra, you want to make sure that it is within a certain size, right? So certain dimensions is very important when it comes to bringing an actual carry-on bag onto an actual airplane, onto the vessel. Another thing, you it's something that a lot of people don't think about, but they don't look and try to look into, okay, what type of plane am I actually traveling on? Is it a 747? Is it a smart Airbus? Is like, is it a jet? Like what is the actual size of the plane? And you may be saying, why is that important? Because those compartments for the carry-ons, come on, I don't know if anybody has ever been on one of those small planes where you can barely even get a real carry-on into that space. So you want to be mindful of that, because then that just saves a whole bunch of time, and that person saying, "Hi, you're gonna have to check that." Like, be mindful of that. Be mindful of the size of the plane that you're actually going to be getting on. But I'm gonna go ahead and take a dive into this now. Those of you that are on TikTok, I'm sorry you're not able to see the actual slide that I have going on, but um, check me out on YouTube, and you'll be able to see this and all the footage and all the information that is being shared with the YouTube community and with Facebook. So just carrying on with me around the world. So number one, as it relates to your carry-on, I always say you want to make sure that you know information about that airline company. I talked about that, the carry-on restrictions and the dimensions. And now some of the companies is actually saying, how much does that carry-on weigh? So some actual airlines want to know the weight of your carry-on. So be mindful of that. Before, you were only worrying about the weight of your check bag, but there's some airlines that are getting a little bit more strict in that particular area. You want to choose a lightweight and a durable bag that fits comfortably either in the overhead compartment and has enough space for you to organize things. Now, the overhead, so basically with the overhead, that's the one you can't put up underneath your seat. So you want it, there's different ones, right? So you can get either the duffel bag size, you can get the roller size, or you can get ones that don't roll. Now for me, I have all different types of luggage, and there's times when I just want to be really, really cute, right? And I want to walk with my real fancy duffel bag. But honey, when you traveling in an airport that is really big and you trying to carry that duffel bag, it can go real bad real fast. So be mindful of that too when you're choosing your actual carry-on bag. Think about the airport that you will have to actually drag that bag through, because this is something you got to carry with you throughout the whole process. And maybe the airline, maybe the airport that you're checking into might be small, but then think about the place that you're actually going to. One thing you won't want to do is, like, I know when I travel and I get to Jamaica, honey, it's like walking a country mile in the heat sometimes, depending on, like, if I fly into Kingston and you have to walk that long stretch, and then I got the duffel bag and I got all these different things. So be mindful, try to do some research, see, how big the airport is, how far is it from one point to the next. Again, this is just things that you can look into just to make your travel experience that much more easier and less stressful and less bogged down. A lot of times when people travel, it's like by the time you reach your destination, you're like exhausted. But when you do your math, you do your due diligence ahead of time, then you actually can prepare, and things tend to go a lot smoother. Right, TikTok, right, TikTok, right, Instagram. Come on, Facebook. All right. So again, you want to be mindful of this, right? It's good to make a packing list. Have an idea. Write out some of the things that you want to take. Make sure that you know, okay, there's certain things I need to make sure that I have, right? Do I have my medication? Do I have my travel documents? I've seen people take and put very important things into their check bag. And when you put those things in your check bag, if things happen and there's a delay, you can't get to your medication. They're not going to go and pull it out just for you. So some things you want to make sure you have. Certain important documents you want to make sure you have in your person. You don't know if there will be delays or anything like that. So I always say things that are very important to you, make sure you have it. Me, my laptop and my power cord and my adapters, they go with me on the plane. Why? Because I'm just ready for anything. And at any moment, if something go wrong, I still need to be able to plug in and be able to get to do whatever it is that I need to do. So you want to be mindful of some things that you value or you deem as important, and make sure you have those in your carry-on in the event that your check bag get lost. All right, stick a pin. Watch this. I recently went on a trip, and honey, when I tell you I had everything packed, I just knew that nothing was going to go wrong. And I went against my whole carry-on method and reached another country only for them to say, that the belt at the airport that you left broke. Nobody's bag made the plane, and you're not going to get your bag for 3 days. Now, see, if I would have had my carry on and put at least, and I always recommend have at least a backup outfit in there, um, certain necessities that you need in the event that something goes wrong. I was literally in a country for 3 days without my bag. The good thing is, actually, live in that country too. So I went home. I was all right. So just be mindful of that when you're actually planning a trip and looking to go somewhere. You want to have that carry on and certain things you want to have in it, right? So your medications, your travel documents, a change of clothes. Use packing cubes. Those little packing cubes, you might see them online where you can kind of put a lot of things in it and zip it up. I actually brought this out to show you guys, right? So this is a bag, right? So you're probably looking at this bag like, what is this, right? I'll show you this, right? This might be better. This might be better. So this is a vacuum storage bag. Everybody see this? A vacuum storage bag. So you're probably thinking, why do I want a vacuum storage bag when I'm traveling? So if you're that person who don't want to check your bag, but you have a lot of clothes or a lot of things, you can put them inside this bag, and then you take the actual pump and you suck all the air out. It will shrink everything down so small that what would have been a check bag will now fit in your carry-on. Thank me later. Amazon. You can't go wrong. $20, a win-win. Listen, you pay $20, you get a bunch of these bags. Just think about it. If it's a flight where the carry-ons are free, you got enough stuff in your bag that would have fit in a check bag that normally start anywhere from $35 and up. Come on. Come on. Thanks, sis. Thanks, sis. Yes, yes. So you want to make sure you have that. So if you don't have those compartments, get those vacuum bags. That way you can get a lot of stuff inside that bag, and it'll also to shrink it down, and you have more room to do different things. I don't know if anybody's familiar with military style when it comes to packing or when it comes to, putting your clothes up. You will save a lot of room if you take your clothes and roll them. Honey, I remember one time I had so much stuff when I was traveling to another country and I was just rolling, rolling, rolling. Could not believe that I had about 20 outfits rolled up on top of the other little things that I needed. And it literally all fit inside of a carry-on. Hello, somebody. It was real. I had to open up the extra compartment, but at the end of the day, it all fit in there. It all fit in there perfectly. So you may want to consider even rolling up the clothes so that it'll fit inside the carry-on. All right. Some people may do this, some people might not. If you're going somewhere and let's say you got a jacket or you have like a sweater or something like that, I would say wear those, just kind of carry them. Don't put it in your bag. That way you still have room and space. So anything that is big, you want to make sure that you keep those out. The other thing is, now they always tell us about these trial size things. These become lifesavers. I got these from Five Below. Right. So I was in Five Below today. And for the sake of this session, I was like, oh, let me tell them about this. There's so many times that I filled these up with my lotions and, different things that I needed and shampoo. Because who wants to be that guy or that girl that get to a place and there's no shampoo or the shampoo is very little? All right, let's talk about these all-inclusives for a minute, right? They'll have these little things on the wall and they want you to be pushing the button to get shampoo. Like, hello. I mean, this is a wig. Sorry for anybody that thought it wasn't. But if I wanted to wash it, I would be there until Jesus returned to try to get some shampoo out. No, I'll put it in my little bag, especially if I only plan to be there for a short period of time and I want to put things into my carry-on. And you could think of different things that you could put. You could put lotion, you could put shampoo, conditioner, you could put gels, you could put hand sanitizer, certain things you want to try to put in here. And it just makes it so much easier. You can put it inside your carry-on and you're good to go. It's within that 3.4 ounce frame. So TSA is not going to give you a problem. Come on. Thank you, girl. Trust me, some things that we look at and we overlook, is a win-win, especially if you're somebody who likes to travel and like to travel light and don't want to have to pay those extra fees when it comes to checking a bag. That can be a big pain. Um, Reusable water bottles. Actually, I always try to encourage people. I don't have it out here with me. Blame it on my head and on my heart. Um, but I always carry these retractable water bottles. And what I'll do is the next time I'll share like links of it. These retractable water bottles, they'll come up, they'll go about like 16 ounces, but you can fold them right back down. Like that's a win-win because you can always refill them. And then if you have an issue, of course, going through TSA in certain sizes, you go through them, the water bottle, there's nothing in it. Then when you get out of TSA, you can fill it right back up. Um, I'm not one, I don't always travel with that pillow around my neck, but there are some people that really like it. So that's definitely something that you want to keep in mind. Things again that you can put inside your carry-on, things you should keep in your carry-on. These, right? I don't know if you guys are familiar. This is my little favorite little baby. It has been around the world. This is a portable charger. And you can be in the weirdest places, and I'll tell you that good old cell phone will let you down. You don't want to be in a place where the phone lets you down and you really need to reach out and touch someone. So I always recommend, investing in these power blanks. Close that because now I know how to decline people from joining my live. um, so you want to make sure you have something like this so that you can always be able to either recharge your phone or your laptop, depending on the actual power bank. Now, I have this one, and it is exclusively for my iPhone. I'm gonna make it come close. You see how it's made? It's made for the iPhone. Um, so I use that for my iPhone, but I also have one that's a little bigger. It has about 6 different ports where you can put USB ports into it, and it will enable me to be able to charge up other things, multiple things at one time. And it's definitely a good investment for you to have and to include inside of your carry-on. I don't want to go too far. Let me see if I got any questions out there in regards to carry-ons, or I'll just keep on going for you. Da, 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 da. Did I miss it? Oh, look, someone's asking, did I miss it? You got to join now, sister. Oh, something that I think is very, very important. You should always have on your carry-on or on your person, especially when you're traveling internationally. You always want to make sure that you travel with a copy of your passport. Always have a copy of your passport. Yes, have the hard, you have to have the physical one, but having that backup is always good. In the event that you lose your physical passport, you have something to show proof that, hey, I did have one and this is me. The other thing that I highly recommend is that I always tell my clients, make sure you have 2 copies of that passport. Well, 3, right? So you need 3 copies. You need one that you need to leave wherever you live, and you need 2 that you need to carry. So you can have one that maybe you keep in the safe and one that you keep on your person just as a backup, just in case you happen to be out and you drop the one somewhere, you still got a backup. So that is definitely a good best practice, something to incorporate whenever you're traveling or going somewhere internationally. So have that photocopy of your passport. I touched base on the travel adapter. And so listen, and even when it comes to your carry-ons, right? Especially if you're doing a check bag and you have a carry-on, I always say don't overload your carry-on too much because again, as much as we always think, oh, I weighed this perfectly, it's going to be the set pounds. You don't want to get to the airport and then all of a sudden they say your main bag is too heavy and then you have nowhere to put it. And now you're like trying to put clothes on and all of that. So you always want to kind of leave some space inside of your carry-on just in case something like that was to happen to reach you. So those are just a few tips as it relates to carry-ons. Again, you want to make sure you know the requirements as it relates to the particular airline companies because it varies. Even the dimensions vary. So you want to be mindful of that. That's one. Be mindful of what the airlines the airline restrictions. Also, be mindful of the airports that you're going to be traveling into. So that too helps you determine which one of your carry-ons you're going to carry on, because you don't want to be that one that has so much stuff in that duffel bag and it's like breaking your back. Like, don't break your back, baby. Get a roll on if you can. uh, and that's about it as it relates to the carry-on component of when you're traveling. All right, let's see here. So what we got over here? Trying to see what it's showing me. Awesome. So the other thing that I want to touch base on is in regards to travel tips when traveling with kids with autism, right? Um, so I'm going to shift from the carry on and I'm going to talk a little bit about travel tips when you're traveling with children with autism. Um, I definitely have a heart for the community, and normally, you wouldn't always say autism. I'm using autism because most people don't know certain terminologies like children that are on the spectrum, um, parents that have children that are on the spectrum, and I made it my business and took an extra initiative to ensure that my company went and got certified to be able to service this particular community, because it's one that's underrepresented and people don't talk much about it. And sometimes you think, you'll see a child, you see one acting out, or you think they're acting out, and you don't understand that they're actually having what is called a sensory overload. And for that parent, it can be a little frustrating, not just because of the child having an overload, but how people look at them and watch them, and that's so uncomfortable. So I wanted to do something special, specifically for that community, just to talk a little bit about it, and give you some tips, because a lot of times I've met parents who've said that they don't take their children on trips, or they're very reluctant as it relates to taking their kids on trips because of these things. So some of the things that you can do when you're looking to travel with a child that is autistic, and I always say that is a superhero, because I think children with autism, they're amazing. They have senses that a lot of us don't have, and if you could only take time to learn and understand them and appreciate them and value them and let them know they belong in our community, right? They're not an outcast, and just love on them all the more. It's so important. But one of the tips I put out is, you want to plan ahead, right? So if I know, or if you know that you're taking a child to, let's say you're taking them to Disney, you can do things and give them maybe some visual aids, give them photos of what the whole process will look like with leaving the house and going to the airport, and, showing them pictures of the inside of a plane, and showing them what the resort may look like, and just getting them involved ahead of time. And you do this over and over again so that they start to feel comfortable and confident that they'll be able to, function while actually going to the place that they desire to be. A lot of times with children with autism, repetition makes a huge difference. So you want to plan ahead. You want to get them ready so it doesn't seem like, "Ooh, this trip was sprung on me. I'm a little nervous." So just be mindful of that, right? So you can plan ahead. Another thing is choose autism friendly accommodations. And you're probably thinking, what is that? There's some hotels, there's some resorts that actually cater to this particular community, and they have things in place so that the children, they'll feel more comfortable, more confident. And they have people that are trained, that know how to assist you and assist the child. And they have different things where they'll allow the kids to go to a particular place. I know Sandals is really big on that, and I big up Sandals all the time, because they really put a focus on enabling parents with children with autism to be able to travel. And sometimes that parent needs that break, but they're afraid to take a break. And then you take a break, and most kids can go to the playground and have fun, or whatever at a particular resort. But then when you have your child that has a little extra or special need, knowing that someone there that is trained and developed to actually keep your child engaged and handle them, that gives you a sense of peace. So you want to choose an autism friendly accommodation. Another thing, bring comfortable items from home. So you're thinking, what is comfortable items? If there's like a special pillow they like, if it's the blanket that they need, it's things that that are like comfort tools for them. Then you want to bring those things to make it as comfortable as possible. So now you've already told them this is what we're going to do. We're gonna go to the airport, and this is what the process is going to be, and you're taking them through all that, and they're preparing themselves, and everywhere you go is, autism friendly, and you have these comforts that whenever they start to feel the anxiety, that they're able to actually, hold on to one of their comforts or their pillows or teddies and feel a little bit more comfortable. Another tip is, make sure that you have noise canceling headphones, right? You may see a lot of kids that walk around and they have headphones, and that's a good thing to have when you have a child that may be on the spectrum. That this way you minimize, if not completely eliminate, all the different things that they're constantly picking up that can possibly cause an overload, a sensory overload. So have those noise canceling headphones, and that will help the process as you are traveling. And then also, a lot that downtime, a lot that break, right? Give them a break. I don't know about you, but when I travel, sometimes traveling can be exhausting. So being able to have different things where we say, okay, we're going to take a break right now. We're going to allow you to be able to, get yourself together, and now feel back comfortable and confident. And we're going to step and go to the next part. Implementing those downtimes and those breaks will definitely help a lot as it relates to traveling and going through the travel experience. So those are the 5 things that I do have down. I said I'll do a more in depth, like a serious deep dive into travel and targeting for children with autism. But one thing I want to add, that you may not know, is that whenever you are traveling with someone that has autism, and let's say that you're going to take a flight, and if you're going to take a flight, you can always contact TSA. That is right. You can contact TSA, let them know that you have a child that has special needs, right? And they'll allow you to be able to come earlier. They'll give you time frames. They'll be able to say, hey, this is a peak time. This is a good time when you could bring the child, where it might not be as exhausting or frustrating or too much going on inside the airport. They'll also allow you to be able to go through a special gate or a special oh God, not so much a special gift, but like the lines, right? They have different lines. So it's like, if they know this is a child that may have autism, and then there's one that's not as busy, they'll be able to go through those. So those things all make a difference. And it helps make that process in an airport a little more comfortable and a little bit more bearable for the child and for yourself. So be mindful of that. You can definitely do that. You can also contact the airline company, let them know, and what they will do as well. They will allow you. So you know how when you're at the airport and you'll hear them say, if there's anybody that needs a little extra time getting down the runway or things like that, right? Those are the times, like if they know that you have a child that has autism and you've already spoken with the airline and talked to the agent, they'll allow you to take your child on the plane first. They'll be a part of that first wave that get to go on the plane. And I think that's amazing. I think that's a blessing, because then you're able to get the child on the plane and it's not a lot going on. They're able to get in their seat and they're nicely buckled up, and you've talked to them, and you can even have, you know, what you use as a visual aid. So like, I have my little notes here. I'm sorry, TikTok, you guys don't see this, but Facebook does. But you can say, hey, remember we talked about the seating, and we talked about the inside of the plane, and now they feel comfortable. So it's like, you just take that extra time just so that your child can feel very safe and very comfortable. And then once they're on the plane, boop, put on those noise cancellation headphones, let them get to playing their games and doing what makes them feel good and happy. It's a win-win. So, mom, dad, my heart goes out to you. My prayers are always with you and your children. And I am a strong believer. I'm so passionate about people being able to go and experience the world. And I don't think that anyone should be limited from being able to just be able to go and explore something. We may have to take extra steps, but it's always worth it, right? It's always worth it. So again, I am Flora Singh, and I was going to touch base on one other thing, but because of time, I don't want to bore you with too much. And there's a lot to talk about when it comes to travel. And you guys can see I am very passionate about travel. So I will see you all next week. The time is actually changing. So it won't be 7 p.m. moving forward. It will be 8 p.m. So it'll be 8 p.m. and that will be the final change for the travel tricks and tips with me, Flora Singh from Sing Tours International. Now, I have a link. I will drop a link into the chats. It has my link tree. And I always ask if you have any questions, right? Any questions or anything that you want to know about or things that you would like for me to talk about. I am so open for your feedback. Feel free, click it and send that information. Also, if you would like to receive the carry-on tips for free, if you would like to have the travel tips for when traveling with kids with autism, I will send that to you for free. Just put your name, send me your email, and I will send you this information, everything that's in this PowerPoint that you guys might not have seen, but you are definitely welcome to have it. I hope you guys enjoyed today's session. And until next week, have a great day. And always remember, travel, travel, travel. Have a wonderful day. And that concludes travel trips and ticks. Travel tips and tricks and tea with me. Have a wonderful day. Bye.